Hello friends, and welcome to this week's astrological forecast. I'm going to be going over the energies that you can be expecting this week, what type of planetary shifts and movements we're going to be having, and explaining them a little bit more thoroughly, which signs are going to be the most affected. And I'll be doing this every single week, so if you would like to subscribe and get more information about the astrological happenings, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's jump right in because this week we don't have too much going on compared to the end of the month, because the end of the month is looking a little crazy, not gonna lie, but we'll get there. So starting off the week on Sunday, we are having Sun in Aries square Jupiter in Cancer. Now whenever we have a square aspect, this is an aspect of tension. This usually asks us to take action in some way, shape, or form. However, I wouldn't necessarily suggest taking any form of action around the beginning of the week, simply because there is a bit of a push and pull energy. That's kind of what squares are. It's a push and pull between two differing energies, and it can be a little bit confusing. So let's dive a little bit further into this and how this can express itself on a more personal basis. When you have the Sun in Aries, it's very individualistic. It's very, what's good for me? I want to do something that's more self-serving, more something that increases my independence, that increases my individuality. And when you have Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, Cancer is all about nurturing, and it can be a little bit of a people pleaser type of energy. So there's a bit of a push and a pull between what is best for us versus what is best for everyone else. And we can be emotionally pulled towards doing one thing or the other. And right now our vision may not be super clear, simply because we do have Mars in Pisces. We also have Mercury in Pisces. So a lot of the things that are coming up now are very emotional. We can be very emotionally pulled towards one direction or another, or feeling like we need to sacrifice our independence and our individuality, our authenticity, our sovereignty in order to stay comfortable, in order to stay safe and secure with others around us. It seems like you have to choose between yourself and other people, and it can feel difficult to make that choice. That's why I suggest to wait until towards the end of the week. So on Thursday, this is our second major aspect that we're going to be having in the week. Mars entering the sign of Aries. So Mars loves being in the sign of Aries. Mars is at home in the sign of Aries. For the past month or so, it's been in the sign of Pisces. It doesn't really operate at its best there. Mars is our passion, it is our determination, it is our forward motion, right? It is our ability to do things and get things done. And when it's in the sign of Pisces, that can kind of be muddied based off of our emotions. Our emotions are constantly changing, constantly shifting. And so our determination, our courage, our motivation, our ability to move forward or have a single pointed focus is not there with Mars in Pisces. So as we move into the end of the week, we will have Mars moving into the sign of Aries. This will allow us and give us that clarity that we are searching for and that we are looking for in the beginning of the week. So if you have any major decisions that you think you can push off towards the end of the week, I would suggest to wait until the end of the week, because you'll have a lot more clarity. You will really know for sure what it is that you want to do. It won't be coming from a place of emotion. It'll be coming from a place of logic mixed with the emotion, because obviously in the beginning of the week you've dealt with the emotional turmoil, so you understand that. But now with Mars moving into the sign of Aries, you also now have that clarity of, this is what's best for not only myself but also for other people. You're trying to figure out a win-win situation, and towards the end of the week you may be able to figure that out. Those are essentially the major aspects that are happening this week. It's nothing super crazy. The signs that are going to be affected the most by this energy, and the signs that you may have been feeling a lot of energetic shifts these past few days, weeks, I would say, ever since the Sun moved into the sign of Aries and Saturn moved into Aries and Neptune moved into Aries, the cardinal signs are definitely feeling this shift. So the cardinal signs being Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, you guys are definitely on a spotlight for this month, because there's so much energy going on in the sign of Aries. It's passionate, it's fiery, it loves to start things, it loves to get things done. It can uncover a lot that may have been getting in the way or may have been hindering our ability to fully express ourselves and be our truest authentic selves. And so uncovering all of those layers, peeling back all those layers, seeing what truly is lying at the center of the self can sometimes be a little bit messy, can sometimes feel a little bit uncomfortable, but for some people it may feel liberating. So it honestly depends on how you're taking this energy and what stuff you got going on underneath the surface. That's everything for the energy of this week. We're gonna pick 3 tarot cards. I'm gonna do an overall energy of the week and a challenge card, so what maybe the current challenge is getting in the way, and an advice card. So we're gonna start with the overall energy of the week. I'm using the Animal Tarot. I love this deck. I love the Animal Tarot deck. So what is the overall energy of the week for this collective, for this Sun in Aries squared Jupiter and Mars entering Aries on Thursday? What is the overall energy? Oh, I love this. It's so cute. It's the cow. I love cows. I don't know if you can see it because of the ring light, but it's a cow. It says, the planning, resources, and efforts you've invested in your dream will reap great rewards. In the meantime, have patience and meditate on your next steps. So yeah, essentially going back to what I was saying, making sure like having patience, trying to realize that the beginning of the week is going to possibly feel, especially for the cardinal signs, like I said, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, you may be feeling very emotional, kind of pushed and pulled in different directions, kind of confused and not really knowing where to go. Just know that the efforts and the plans that you've made already, the things that you have laid out already are working fine. Be patient, kind of just let the week come through and so you can gather more information. You can see the way things play out naturally and not really acting from a place of emotion. Because if you notice, cows are like very slow and just overall pretty calm. Like obviously they have their personalities, right? But they're not super excitable, running like horse type of energy. Allow yourself the space to just meditate, calm down your energy, and realize that the answers that you're looking for will come in due time. What is the challenge for the collective this week? What challenges is the collective experiencing this week? This card is calling out to me. Princess of Summer, it's the deer. This is the challenge card. You can expect to kindle a new romantic relationship or close platonic friendship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. Interesting that this came up as a challenge card because obviously this looks like a pretty positive card. Sensitive, kind, open-hearted, and inexperienced. Okay, so inexperienced is standing out to me. Don't let any naivete get in the way of your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. Just allowing yourself to stay grounded, be self-aware, be aware of what's going on, be aware of the energy that's around you, and take it all in as information so that when you do eventually make a decision, when you do get this Mars and Aries energy of taking action, you know exactly what it is you need to do because you've gathered all the information from your surroundings. Also, don't close yourself off to any new experiences. Don't close yourself off to new interactions with people, but also don't be naive and don't jump into things very quickly, okay? The thing with the deer is that sometimes the deer can jump into things quickly without necessarily seeing all of the details, so that would definitely be something that I would look out for this week. Making sure you're just not jumping into anything too brash. One final card for the collective. Any advice for this week? The energy of the week for the collective. Any advice? This card is speaking. Oh, it's a little shepherd puppy. It says the dreamer. The dreamer. So this is kind of like the Fool card. You are starting a new adventure. Run free and take a leap of faith. It's so cute. Oh my god, I hope you can like see this card and the ring light's not too crazy. But it's a little puppy and he's chasing the little butterflies. I love it so much. That brought me so much joy. That brought me so much joy. But you know, it's kind of seeing these cards together. We have the cow, right, who's like in the pasture, in the grass, and then you have the deer who's like right at the edge of the grass by the water, and then you have the corgi jumping over the water. Well, it says shepherd puppy, but it looks like a little corgi to me. That's a little corgi baby. He's jumping over the water and chasing after the butterflies. So yeah, we're starting off the week like, stay grounded, try not to get too overly emotional, try not to get too overly invested into anything that gets presented to you. There may be opportunities that present themselves to you, there may be new relationships that present themselves to you, but realize that the beginning of the week is going to be a lot of emotional energy, a lot of emotional turbulence, and you may not be seeing things super clearly. So just wait until you have all of the information, until you feel emotionally stable, until you've gathered all the information from your surroundings, and you can truly make an informed decision, a logical decision, and not an emotional decision. So that's the energy for the week. I'll see you guys next week, and we'll talk about what's going on then, because next week is looking kind of crazy. So we'll definitely touch on that. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.